oil was at a good place in order to cook your food.
Right.
All right.
We live now, man. Actually, unfortunately, I know I'm gonna hear about it because I don't think I hit the record button, but I don't know if it records on its own anyway. So, welcome to Real Brothers Live, y'all. Real Brothers for the real world. We'd like to welcome you to our digital neighborhood. And joining us today, we have two friends of the program. They've both been here before on numerous occasions. Actually, Pooch Anthony was one of the originals before he decided to go solo and he left the show.
I got tired of breaking up my bread 3 ways.
Yeah, he went solo. So Ant, tell us, man, what you been doing since you left, man? How's everything been going?
Man, it's been a little bit crazy, a little hectic, but just moved this weekend, so everything's where it needs to be. You
moved to a new crib?
Yes, let's just say that.
Hey, God, that's one thing. I know the answer, but I figured I would see where he's gonna go with it. Well, congratulations on you. You say what?
I said it ain't for everybody. Everybody don't need to know.
Got it.
That's all you need to know. I'm moving.
Okay. Well, congratulations on your move, man.
Yeah.
Also, congratulations.
Also with us is my man Guy Lang. He's been here before. If you watch us with any regularity, you'll recognize him. What's up, Guy? How you making out, man?
Hey, how you doing there, Stace? And Pooch, how's everybody? I'm good. I'm hanging in there. I'm just getting by. Thanks for inviting me on. I appreciate you guys.
No problem, man. And thanks for coming on last minute. I think I got my schedule screwed up. Terry on vacation. I was supposed to reach out earlier. So I know I'm gonna hear about that when he's gonna call names next time I talk to him. But we'll get back to that later. But so we got a couple topics that we want to roll out. I think we have some interesting ones. And Pooch, you haven't been on the longest. Guy was on a couple weeks ago. So Pooch, we're gonna go with you. I'm gonna put the 4 topics out there. Let us know which one you wanna start at. All right, we have our youth. We have Ben Simmons. We have college athletes getting paid. And Juneteenth, ... not enough. What's your pleasure?
Well, I mean, let's start with the hot topic in Philly.
Ben Simmons.
That's the Ben Simmons situation.
Right.
Major. What are your thoughts on it, man?
Well, before we came on, I was telling you, I was like, I'm kind of caught between, wanting to keep them and wanting to move on. Because number one, whenever you trade an all-star player, you never get true value.
Nobody get another all-star.
Yeah, take my all-star and we'll take yours, because that's
right.
not how the NBA works. So what are you going to get back in return that's going to help you get over the hump? In my opinion, nothing is out there that's going to get you over the hump. So it's either keep him and hope that he learns to shoot and stop being scared, or I think if you trade Ben, you got to trade Embiid. You can't keep one of them.
You think you got to trade? Really? You think you had to trade both of them?
I'm gonna tell you why. I talked to a lot of guys that know basketball. And matter of fact, I told you I played golf with a brother who was in the NBA for like 8 years. One thing we always discuss is when you look at a star player, or what is defined as a star player, most star players don't have that many holes in their game. Right?
You mean like Embiid does?
Well, Embiid's hole in his game is twofold. Number one is his health. He's never going to give you a whole season.
True.
So if you're going to keep him, you need to have somebody that can offset the 20 games he's going to miss a season. Right? Somebody who's going to play 82 games a year. So that in that aspect, what I'm saying is Ben Simmons, if you trade him and you don't get the right player back,
the team is done.
You really want Tobias Harris to be the guy trying to lead the team if Embiid can't play 82 games.
Right.
And then if you keep Ben Simmons, you know the obvious flaw in his game. He's scared to shoot the ball. We all saw in Game 7, he passed up a wide open dunk.
That was crazy.
Because he thought the guy was going to foul him.
He didn't want to go to the line.
Line. So that's the,
I think I think I agree with the Facebook user, man, and I think that Facebook user was talking about when you said trade them both.
Right.
I'm with one, but I don't see why you would need to trade both. Not both of them. You going to say something else?
Well, I was going to state the second reason why I think you need to trade them both. If you trade one, you trade them both. Is even though Ben Simmons is only 24, if you don't trade both of these guys at the same, when you decide to make a move either way.
You talking about rebuilding again then?
Huh?
You talking about rebuilding again then? You talking about start from scratch?
In the NBA, teams rebuild every 5 years. It's just the nature of the beast. Unless you fortunate or blessed enough to get a LeBron or KD or somebody like that, you always in rebuild mode. Or you're gonna wind up. This is the reason why the Sixers did it in the first place, the tank, because they got tired of being the 7th and 8th seed. Right? You have to be bad in order to be good. And
yeah, but see, but some teams. Well, Guy, what are your thoughts, man? What do you think?
First, let me be honest. First, I didn't follow the entire season. I didn't follow the season period. I didn't jump on the NBA until the playoffs, and I did get to catch Game 7, and I did catch that. You saw. I think that was the play you mentioned, Pooch. I think that was that was the game changer. That's what really changed the game, changed the momentum. When he missed that, when he didn't shoot that shot, and I think we were down 2. Or 3 or something like that. And we were down 2. Like that would, and from there it just went. It was all the way downhill from there. And you coming from damn near 20-point lead in the game. Philly fans. I don't want to say I ride the bandwagon, but I do ride with Philly. And I gotta say, they've been calling for his head and not in a polite way. So I'm not saying I ride with that, but. When it come down to that, and you talking about Philly, one of the major sports centers in the nation, right? We got teams in just about every sport. We got to get what we pay for, and you can't come here and do that. You can't. We expect better, and that's what we deserve. As fans.
It's funny, Guy. I think what you just said is true, man. And tell me what if you think I'm wrong. I think Philly fans, man. I mean, we want to win, but you know what we want more than that. We want fighters.
Yeah, we want heart. We want fighters. Man, we'll take AI losing in the finals. But he come down to it. But we know he leaves his whole body on the court.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? But you got somebody like Ben. You left too much out there, bro. It's too much left. You should be able to win.
On that bone.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So. We come. This is a city of heart. If you ain't got heart, and you can't really, you're not gonna be able to take the fans after performance like that. You know what I'm saying? We expect more, and you got to give us more than that.
You will be beloved if you sacrifice your body each and every time and lose, versus you walk away with a clean uniform and keep losing. That's unacceptable. You have to fight. Now, what I was saying though, Pooch, and sort of like Guy, I don't follow it as closely as others, but I was, I'm pretty much, try to stay on top of it, especially the personnel. But I don't know if you can train somebody. How do you teach somebody to have heart, man? I don't know.
You can't. Well, Well, there is some things you can do that I don't know. Like, okay. I played basketball growing up, that, Stacey. But I played all sports too. It wasn't just basketball. I played football, baseball, all that stuff. The one thing in basketball nobody should have to tell you to do is shoot the ball.
Shoot the ball.
That's a very fundamental thing.
Especially at that level.
Basketball is all about.
Right.
The defense and all that, the learning how to play the game the right way, that'll
come.
You learn the very fundamental thing of shooting the ball.
Right.
How to. It's like one of my coaches used to tell me, said, like, pretend you're a waiter. You hold your hand like this, and then you put your guy hand on top. So when you release, it's a nice follow through.
Yeah.
His form ain't bad. I've watched him shoot on YouTube. I've seen him in summer leagues. Pick up game. His form is not bad. The problem is
heart.
This is to your point. Can you teach heart? It's not that you can teach heart, because I think everybody has a certain toughness in them. But mentally, can you get into his mind? And there's nothing that he should be afraid of out there. Ben plays to his weaknesses instead of his strengths. Ben need to realize I'm 6'11", 240.
That's right. That's
handles.
That's right.
Nobody can stay in front of me or
nobody
if I make my mind up.
That's right.
To be aggressive, and that's the problem. He's not aggressive.
So it's like with him, you talking about, like you just said, Pooch, you trying to teach him the fundamentals of playing. You know, that's what you would tell the kids when they start playing. Shoot the ball. Don't be afraid to shoot the ball. You know, you talk about going back to the basics with him.
Well, yeah, but it was high school coach came out in the interview and said he think it's mental because Ben was a good shooter in high school, but somehow, like some people are afraid to look bad,
right?
Because of this social media, world that we live in. Like, so they know they're gonna get heavily criticized for the smallest things. So my mindset is, well, if you're gonna criticize me either way, I might as well go ahead and shoot the ball, because if I don't shoot, I know I'm gonna get criticized.
That's right. That's right.
You know, and somebody made a point earlier talking about Ben balled out when Embiid was gone. And see, that's my.
Might put that on Facebook, didn't they?
And that's the issue. That's why I said you might have to trade both, because they can't coexist in the same world.
See, but I mean, but now somebody else said Ben Lillard, whatever his name is.
Really? Why would
young Chris. That was young Chris said that.
Oh, Chris said that?
Yeah.
See, I can't see the names. The names don't show up. I mean, but I think that what he's saying is, and I agree with him though. I don't think you can get rid of Ben, man. I don't think you could do that. Ben is probably, probably one of the best top two centers in the league, and he could put the now. Embiid. I'm sorry, Embiid. But the problem with him is what you worry about are the injuries. But I mean, there's a way that you can give him, slow him down a little bit during the regular season. But what he brings when he's on the floor, man, you're not going to get that from anyone else.
Well, my and this is to my point, because I do watch all the games. I've always been on board with the tank, because I understand you got to be really bad in the NBA to be really good.
So you saying tank again?
Well, it's not like football where you have the worst record, you get the number one pick.
Right.
It's a lottery system.
That's right.
So you could be the worst team in the NBA and fall all the way to the fourth pick. And then the fourth pick in the NBA draft may not be that good. Right. Sometimes there's a clear gap between 1 and 2. So, I know some people hated the tank, talking about, that's not how you win. Well, that's not how you build a champion. But you're not trying to build a champion right away. You're trying to build a team that you can win with. So the Sixers have a team you can win with. You can get to the playoffs every year with Ben and Embiid and Tobias as your core. But that's not what we're trying to do.
Right. We've been here before. Right.
And so my thing is, after watching that performance where Ben was afraid, he didn't take a shot games 4 through 7 in the fourth quarter.
Yo, that's crazy.
And this is to Chris who said that. Why if I'm Portland would I give you Dame Lillard?
Right.
Mr. Clutch.
Yeah. Now that's going to be the problem.
Logo Dame. They call him Logo Dame because he shoots from the logo. All net.
They say what? Logo?
Yeah,
oh, really?
Logo Dame.
Wow.
So why would I give you that for a 6'11" guy that's afraid to shoot the ball?
No.
I'm not doing it. That don't make sense in any world or alternative universe. That just doesn't make sense.
And actually, unfortunately, his stock is consistently dropping. I mean, you could have made an argument that had he had a good series, that you can offload him then because he would have showed you something. But now everyone knows that we don't want him and that any chance we get, we're going to get rid of him. So his stock is just dropping. So no team is going to really give you too much for him at all.
Well, that's not true, because in the NBA, unlike any other sport, teams like to get rid of contracts. You know what I mean? So if I'm paying you $30 million a year, I mean, you and I, listen, anybody can trade it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Al Horford just went for a first-round pick.
Right.
Al Horford, who we signed and traded for Danny Green.
Right.
And Ben is only 24. He's still an all-star. He's still a 3-time all-star. So he has value. It's just not, and that's to my point when I first said it, the value may not be, I'm getting another star in return. The value may be I can get a couple of pieces.
Right.
And
True.
draft picks. But, if you're the Sixers, you want to win now.
But isn't that a problem though, man? Okay, now, guy, you can respond to this though, as a casual fan like me. If we heard all this time about trust the process, and we got these two, I mean, first one out pieces, and now you talking about to the casual fans like us, we need to tank again for maybe another 4 years before we get good again. That's a hard pill to swallow, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not ready to tank again. I'm not ready to go to the bottom of the barrel, but
yeah.
And I'm not, we've been hearing trust the process for a few seasons now.
Yeah.
And, to reach the point where we made it now, it's like, all right, so we trusted the process. We saw a team that had the potential to be a finals team and be a winning finals team.
Right.
But, for qualities that weren't there as far as, not physical qualities, but I guess internal qualities, those, like that heart, you know what I'm saying? If that's not there, it's just a tough. What can you do with a player like that? It's a catch-22. You damned if you do, you damned if you don't.
Especially that age.
What you getting back for him? You know what I'm saying? You're not getting the same value that you invested in that player. And also, if you keep him, what's to say? We've done that before. We've seen that in the NBA with our players. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it don't always work out. So you kind of. Process, this is probably maybe this is a part of the process. We thinking the process is over and it ain't. This is part of the process.
Well, remember what Dr. J said when he first took over. Well, he became the consultant with the Sixers. And this is around the time Hinkie first took over.
Who, Doc?
Yeah, they asked Doc how long would the process take, and Doc said with a straight face, he told me this was a 7-year plan. So,
wow.
But you got to remember, the Sixers. Okay, they had Drew Holiday, they had Iguodala, and they had a young Vucevic as a center. He was his rookie year. But the problem was, even if Iguodala and Drew Holiday and Vucevic got better, at best you may be 5th or 6th seed.
Right. Yeah. They're not going to take the championship.
Remember, they lost to Boston in the second round, and then the next year it was like, okay, let's go make a trade for Andrew Bynum. But we saw how that played out. Right. Andrew Bynum was a big mistake. And see, that's the problem with teams that rush to try to get good right away. It's fool's gold. They thought they got to the second round and they lost in the Game 7 to Boston, and they believed the hype. So they went out and made a bad trade. Now you give up your all-star small forward Iguodala, and you saw what he did with Golden State.
Yeah. They put him in the right role though. He wasn't that major piece though, right?
No, he was the wrong AI. He was the AI, but
he's right. Yeah, he was the wrong AI. Yeah.
And then you saw what happened to Drew Holiday and then Vucevic.
That's right.
But they still wouldn't have been a championship caliber team,
right?
Because none of those guys individually
are leaders, right? Yeah, no. Now, you need 3 superstars. You need superstars.
You don't need 3 of them. What you need is
you
need a kind of superstar that's undoubtedly the top 5 player in the NBA. Like
okay,
like a LeBron, like a KD.
And not just one of them though. Not just one.
No, you're not gonna get more than one. It's very rare that you see what the Lakers have in Anthony Davis and LeBron.
No, but
that happens.
Yeah, but if you get a player like look at Golden State though. They had Curry, but then they also had Clay, and
Clay is not a top 5 player.
You don't think?
No. Listen to what I'm saying. A top 5 player in the NBA is a guy like
in the NBA,
Kawhi, KD, guys that can do it all. Clay is a great shooter. He's a good defender, but he's not a playmaker. Clay runs off screens. He needs help to do what he do. He's not going to put the ball on the floor and go by you.
Right. He's not going to create his own.
Now Curry can.
Right.
Curry's a top 5 player. Dame Lillard is a top 5 player. Trae Young is showing that he belongs in that conversation.
Right.
So the Sixers never had that from the tank. They never acquired a top 5 player. Embiid has become a top 5 player,
which they knew he could.
He has deficiencies in his health, and and big men when they have health problems, especially with their feet, it's hard for them to get right.
Right. All right, so I guess this is a good leeway, and we're gonna come to you, Guy.
Yeah.
But this is a little different, a little broader than where we are now. But we're gonna stay with the sports. There was an article out a little while ago that actually I heard the story. It might have been Saturday or Friday. I think one of the courts decided that college athletes should be able to get paid. You know, because for the longest, the college athlete they couldn't get paid. They couldn't accept anything at all. What are your thoughts on that, man? Good, bad? What do you think?
Listen, I think for all the money that the colleges rake in off the backs of these young kids,
Yeah.
you know, why not allow them to build a little wealth for their family? Why not allow them to, you know, they may not make it. All these kids may not make it into the NBA or the NFL or the NHL or whatever, you know, sport they want to get into professionally. So, you know, I say, you know, I think they should be properly compensated. You know,
when you say properly, what do you mean, though, guy? Properly?
When I say properly, I think you got to take into consideration that the school does have to operate a sports program. They do have to endorse their schools, and they got to pay for that program. That program ain't free. You know what I'm saying? And it's not paying for itself. So I think there has to be a fair split. It's got to be an equitable split. You know, something that's going to benefit the young people playing, and also benefit the school. And so that the programs can continue. That's what I mean when I say it's got to be, you know, the right number.
So you're saying just not millions. They're not going to be out there making millions. You know, is that what you're saying?
I'm not necessarily saying that. If that's what's equitable, I mean, what are the schools spending this money on? You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever you're spending on, you mean to tell me it's more important to spend it on these kids that's making this money for you? Yeah. I don't know if I fall into that. I don't know if I can buy into that. So I gotta say that the kids deserve something. I don't know if it's the lion's share or I don't know if it's a smaller cut. But I think something. I not looking at numbers and not seeing how they break it in or what they do with it. I can't really say, but I do think that it's their labor, it's their work, it's their talent. It's you know, they put all that effort in. I think there should be a cut for them.
So Pooch, what is the rub with that though? Why? What is the reason that the colleges are saying that the kids shouldn't be paid?
You already know the answer, bro. Nobody wants to share the piece of that pie.
I mean, they don't say that. So,
no, they don't, but some of them do. Some of them say no. And ironically, a lot of people that's out spoken against this is the coaches. The coaches are saying no, athletes should remain amateurs. To me, it's
you know what? Now that's interesting though. So well, I mean, wait, but let's back from it. Okay.
I'm on a line with Guy where but I'm gonna go a little bit deeper. Okay, so let's say basketball, right? Because football is a little bit different. It takes about 2-3 years for your body to mature. So you can't say a guy's ready for the NFL.
Right. Not often.
Very rare does that happen.
Right.
And to me, you look at the two biggest revenue drivers in college sport or in sports period, which is football and basketball, right? Those are the two sports that fund these other programs in the school.
That's right.
So if you look at somebody that is a potential high first round pick, lottery pick in the NBA, and he's one and done, should that guy be able to use his likeness to make money for his family?
Absolutely.
You darn right he should, because what's going to happen if I know I'm one and done? I'm taking money from boosters. I'm taking money from alumni. And I don't care what happens to the program once I leave.
Right.
Because I'm not going to be there past the second semester anywhere.
Yo, but now
get paid.
But now this brings a different set of issues though. Now, so does that mean that they're no longer amateurs then? Are they going to have to come up with another level? You know what I mean? And do they get agents? You know what I mean? Because as Guy said, if you're talking about paying them, and someone is going to have to represent their interests as far as what's fair and equitable.
But see, that's the other extreme, Stacey. That's a handful of athletes you're talking about. We talking about most athletes. Like if you got a football team, right? Or let's just keep it on basketball because it's an easier analogy. So if you got a basketball team with, let's say, 15 to 16 players on it, right? Maybe one of those guys is good enough to go pro.
Right.
But what I think what the athletes are saying is we don't want millions of dollars, but what we want is to just be able to profit from our likeness.
Well, it's going to start off like that, though, Pooch. You know that. They
used to have these college games where they would have the player, you know who it is, right? But that player never saw a dime off that. But the NCAA benefited off it.
Right. Yeah, but again, though, Pooch, you know it's going to start like that. What about somebody, and you're right, you're talking about the elite athletes, but that's just where it starts. You know, somebody like Kobe or somebody like LeBron or even Zion, that they had their eye on him coming out of high school. And now I think I can understand why the coaches would be against it, because now, and tell me what you think, Guy. This student coming out of high school, Nike and already are paying him now. Because they see him and they say this dude is going to be a star. How much is that student going to listen to the coaching when the agents are saying, "Yo, you playing too many games. You might get hurt. They need to rest you for a little bit." You know what I mean? So now I can understand why a coach might be against. It just opens up a different, a whole set of a different can of worms. What do you think, Guy?
I think those kids are going to compete, and they're going to be competitive at the highest level that they possibly can, regardless of what that coach tells them. I think not only does the school capitalize on these kids, you got other industries that capitalize on these kids. EA Sports is making a killing when you come to talking about basketball and football and those games that they put out, and other venues. You see paraphernalia all over the place, jerseys, the whole nine. What if the kid gets hurt in high school and now in college, and now they don't have an opportunity to play professional sports? I think I understand the concept. If you get paid, you got to call yourself a pro, right? You can't accept pay and not be a pro. But maybe there's some type of quasi pro in there where like one of your viewers said, put a cap on it so that there's a certain amount. But if everybody else is capitalizing on the talent and the hard work of these young kids, regardless if they're going to be a superstar playing in professional sports outside of organized sports in college, see to it that it's something there for them. They put their life on the line at practice all day, every day. Give them something, I think.
Yeah, see, but going back to stuff you said earlier, and I'm gonna come to you, Pooch. Also, you said, Guy, that those students going to compete at every level. Wasn't that the rub on Ben Simmons though, that he didn't play basically his last year of school at all, college at all?
No.
Didn't he sit out basically a year or something?
No, he played one season of college basketball, and when the season was over with, he was out. Listen, it's not real complicated. It really isn't. Simply, you pay players based on, like you have a team set level. You can say, okay, everybody on this team is going to make X amount of dollars.
So you can't pay everybody,
right? And here's to Guy's point.
Wow.
You can take out insurance policies on the players for the players, so that if they get hurt, they get paid. Their family gets some kind of compensation, right? So now you're not destitute, right? Because you know how sports are. The minute you can't help me win, I gotta get rid of you.
Right.
Right.
And as far as them being recruited out of high school, every player is recruited out of high school. That's where they get them from.
Right.
Okay? So that's not even an issue. The issue is how much to pay these players, not just Division I, Division II, Division III. The players need some type of. It's not enough to say I'm giving you an education and 3 hots in the cot. They do that in the military, right? So I need to be able to pay these. For instance, the difference between amateur and pro is stupid.
Right.
They just what they call it.
It's
because you can be an amateur and compete in the Olympics and still go out and get your endorsement deals, and you don't lose your amateur status.
Okay, you just can't. Wait a minute. Oh, but that's endorsements. Okay.
But that's being paid off your likeness.
Right.
That's the whole issue with college sports. It's like, why can't I get paid if EA Sports wants to give me $100,000 to use my likeness? Why can't I benefit from it? Why are you as a school benefiting from it? Okay.
So maybe that's the answer then. Maybe the answer then is allow them to be paid for their likeness, not really get a salary. Because now
giving a player $1,000 a game.
I mean, because then now he's an employee.
Millions.
I mean, no. I'm not saying that that's the wrong idea. It's just that I just think that changes the relationship with the kid in the school, because now you're an employee. So now I have more influence over you, because now you work for me now.
No, Steve,
right?
You're taking the argument to extreme. It's not. It ain't got nothing to do with that. It's simply.
But guys in the law. It starts.
I'm twisting this thing through. Listen, it's a slope. You're traveling down it. You got somewhere that it could end up, right? Because when you start adding money to the pot, you are, and you paying kids now. If you're looking at them as employees, there should be a different expectation. And then if you commingle that expectation with, okay, now you got the scholarship, you're paying them this money. It's a lot to look at. But I think we as a society are bright and intelligent enough to figure a way to get money to these kids so that we aren't exploiting them. And I don't want to, I mean, exploiting is probably a strong word to use, but
No, that's a
when
good
you
word.
really
That's
look
a
at
good
it,
word.
I think it's
That's a great
appropriate
word.
because that's basically what's happening. You know, you're using these kids for, you know, financial gain and not, you know, the most you're breaking them off is the cost of tuition, which is a robbery anyway. So,
I mean, what happens when the kid like a Ben Simmons has a lot of potential, and you know he's in English class, and the coach says, "Look, we're paying you, no more English for you." You know what I mean? I mean, what happens when you know you start to? So you saying, Pooch, that something like that won't happen?
No, I'm not saying. I mean, this is anything could happen.
Right.
But I'm just saying, like, it don't have to be that extreme. It could just simply be it's a scale based on, you know, all right. So let's say you're the 15th guy on the bench, right? And you barely play 2 minutes a game. Those players get a couple of $100 a game because, you know, this little bit of money that we're talking is just enough for them to maintain some type of normal life, because not everybody's coming from a background where their parents have money. Some of these kids come from backgrounds where they just happy to get out of their neighborhoods and they survive their neighborhoods.
True.
You know what I mean? Or they take money from drug dealers just to, you know, so they can feel protected.
Right.
Or they play on those, you know, street teams or whatever. Like, so my thing is, just be fair in what you offer them. Let them still profit off of their likeness, and a lot of this stuff goes away, or at least it won't be talked about as much.
Now, somebody said these young people are breaking their backs trying to prove themselves to these coaches and these professional teams who are looking at them. They deserve to be paid. So I guess that it looks like a lot of people. Well, actually, look at this one. You can call them semi-pro, and that's kind of what I was saying. You know, now you adding. They spelled it wrong, didn't they?
Yeah.
They must have with the man.
They got it right down.
Yeah. They must have with the man. Who was that guy?
Oh, stop
that didn't use his spell check. Never mind. Don't say.
I ain't gonna put him out there. No, don't put me in that position, man.
Matter of fact, guy, you can.
Why you gonna do me like that? I ain't gonna do that, man. No.
Gonna stop talking about my school, man.
This just gets stitches, man. I can't do that.
Yeah. All right. So we gonna move on. So, Guy, we're gonna give these next two to you, and you know, let me know which way you want to go, man.
We got the youth, and what is it?
Or the other one is Juneteenth. ... I guess I should have said, is it not enough? Or no, I don't even want to say that. Not enough.
Let's go with Juneteenth. Let's go with Juneteenth.
And actually, when I said it, you kind of smirked. So were you and I arguing about this on Facebook?
I don't know. We have enough little tips on Facebook right now, man. You know,
and that we do, right?
But and you know, listen, I appreciate them because listen. Anybody that can change my thinking, I'm always open to thinking. I'm always open to the other side of the coin because, like we had to talk about one other time, I want to be empathetic to whatever your position is, and if it's a position that I find to be superior to mine or makes me alter my way of thinking, I'm all for it. That makes me better. You know what I'm saying? I'm adding to me when you do that. But as far as Juneteenth, man, I don't think is it enough? It's nothing, really, if you ask me. I don't think it represents much more than, you know, coming from a white man that just said within the past 2 months that he doesn't believe racism exists in America. And then, you know, 2 months later, you signing, you know, into law that this is a federal holiday now. It seems like a pacifier to me. You know what I'm saying? It seems like it's something, this little pat on the head saying, okay, you good now? I'm not good. I'm not happy. That's not satisfying me. What I think is, and that's along the lines of my way of thinking, period. I think in extreme terms when it comes to Black folks and our place in America, right? And
when I said it again, I'm sorry. Can you repeat that? I didn't hear what you just said.
What I said was, I think in extreme terms when it comes to Black folks in America. Okay. An extreme term that I'm thinking of is we would say to some folks who think that we've done something with this holiday is that we've made progress. I don't believe in progress when it comes to equity, when it comes to justice. There's no such thing as progress. And to pacify me with a holiday and say, okay, now you can go outside and cook out on your lawn, or, you know, we can teach about it in school, Juneteenth and all that. Like, You not how is that? Let me ask you, how is that putting wealth into my community? How is that supporting my mental or my behavioral health? How is that decreasing the systemic racism in our criminal justice system? How is that providing any kind of opportunities for me? What is that doing except appeasing me? What is that doing except saying, okay, now sit down somewhere while I sign this bill into law for anti-Asian hate crime? You know what I'm saying? While the legislation that would support African Americans still sitting somewhere in Congress waiting to move forward in the process. So what it's saying to me is, what I'm saying is, I don't believe in any of it until I see true equity and true justice in America. There's no way that anybody can convince me that a holiday or even a piece of the pie, or even if it's going to be, we're going to give you some form of support in your community, unless you cover all those bases, you aren't giving me anything. The old saying goes like this, and I'm gonna cut it short. Render unto Caesar what belongs to Caesar, right? You've been rendering to white folks in America what belongs to what you think belongs to white folks in America since the inception of America, since prior to it, when folks first landed over here and started to take over from the indigenous people here. But you can't see your way to render the same to me. There's no reason that you can explain to me. There's nothing that you can say other than those same words that they've been marching to us or preaching to us over the centuries, which is, you're not ready for that yet. No, I don't think that a holiday in the name of Juneteenth is in any way satisfactory to the cause of equity or justice in America for Black people.
Now, somebody else said, hell no, it's not enough. Now, and the direction that I wanted to go with, the reason why it was phrased this way is because that's kind of what you just laid out, guys, was the position of a lot of people. It's not enough. And I agree with you, it's not enough. But my spin on it, the way I view on it is that, incrementalism. Wait, I said that wrong, didn't I? Help me out, somebody. Incrementalism. You got me.
Okay,
but
I hear you. Right.
Small steps. I don't think you're gonna get the whole pie in one setting. And that's not to say, God, that it's not deserved, because to use your analogy, render on unto us what belongs to us. But we have to start somewhere, though, right? I mean, don't you have to? It doesn't start with educating people that maybe weren't familiar with what was going on or what happened or the current positions or the current status of people. So you educate them, you get them familiar with it, then you move to the next step, though. So you know what I mean. I guess I look at it that any progress is good. What do you think, Pooch? Then, God, I know you want to say something else.
I'm dying, but let me hear.
I'll be real short with you guys so they can jump in. Is any progress good? No.
Man, you said,
okay, to this guy's point, what is progress? How's it progress when you to give somebody or allow somebody what's decent or what's fair, and you got to be told to do that, or you got to be coerced, or you got to be shamed into doing the right thing.
Right.
How's that progress?
Right. No,
there's no such thing as progress when it comes to Black folks in America. I will never prescribe to the notion that incrementalism can be applied to our struggle. If I can stand in one spot and I can look at my white counterpart, same age, same gender,
all the benefits,
just different race, same background, educationally or academically, but our society thinks it can tell me I'm making progress toward the equity that they've enjoyed for 402 years. No, that's not acceptable to me. It'll never be acceptable to me. You'll never be able to tell me okay, let me give you a little bit right now, guy, because this is all you're ready for. No, give me everything that belongs to me and let me decide what I'm ready for.
Now, I agree with that. I don't expect to hear anybody say you're not ready for it. That right there is a non-starter. But so let me ask you this then. With everything you just said, when they so do you say don't make it a holiday?
Make it a holiday. You making some folks happy. Some folks is feeling good about it. Oh, Juneteenth, break out the grill, give me a 6-pack, bring me the Henny or whatever. Let's get it in. You know what I mean? Let's get lit as fuck and all that. Listen, you making some folks happy. I'm not concerned with them. Those not the people that the people that I think are embroiled in the struggle and understand what it's about are more in tune with give us the whole piece of pie and satisfy all of us. Don't give us a little piece and say this is going to satisfy a section of that population. My entire population, everybody within the sphere of being black in America deserves nothing less than full justice and full equity in America. Nothing less, not progress towards it, not we're making steps or we're going to teach you a little bit of this and then we're going to, work you into that. No, give me everything and let me decide what I want to keep and what I don't want to keep, or let me discard it the way I see fit. And
but I think the challenge is though that you're talking about, and again, guy, I'm not saying that I disagree with you, but I guess I'm talking about reality. We're talking about changing the mindset of basically everyone, everybody, any non-black person. Talking about that doesn't happen overnight. That happens over time. Okay, civil rights movement. We don't have all the rights and everything that we should have, the voting rights that we should have now. They're passing laws currently that are stripping away our right to vote. But the civil rights movement that happened in the 60s moved us a little closer to bring us kind of where we are now, though. I mean, that's still small steps, though, right?
I got 2 questions for you. Yeah. 3, really. I got 3 questions. The first question is, what have you been told that makes you believe that progress is acceptable when it comes to our civil rights and our human rights? Number 2, the second question is, what is it that you believe it would take for our society to dole out or render to us our equal rights? And number 3, the third question is, the way you move in life, just maneuvering through, whatever age you are, whatever it is that your life's experience has brought you to, why do you think it's okay for a person with those same life's experience, but because he's a different color, to have greater rights in America than you? Those 3 questions.
Okay, I might need you to repeat them so I don't want to forget them, but I'm going to answer the third one first. I don't think that it's right for somebody that have the same life experiences and background as I do to get a leg up simply because of his race or whatever reason. I don't think that that's okay. Answer to the third question. Answer to the second question is repeat the second question.
The second question was, what do you think it would take for society to render to us what is due to us?
Answer to that is to be frank with you, Guy and Pooch. I think it's more us taking it. Now, of course, I'm not a big believer, but no, I understand the society in which we live, so I understand how power is gained. It's either through voting or money or things like that. So I put more of the emphasis on us coming together, moving in one direction, taking the power versus waiting for anyone to dole it out to us. So I don't subscribe to that at all. I don't think that you wait for someone to give you something that this country said that you deserve simply by birthright. I agree. I think that we stand up together and we make our voices heard and we take it. Did that answer your question?
Kind of, sort of, but maybe I didn't ask it properly, or maybe I did. But what I was leaning towards was, in this society, right? When it comes to justice, it's not something that you can take. Justice is a give and a take. Justice is something that we all owe to each other, and it's something that we all deserve to receive from each other. So I don't think it's something that you can go out and take. So that what I was saying was, as far as the total of society goes, and the way that Black people are treated in America and globally, for real, what is it that you think is impeding, or what is it that you think is keeping us, or what is it that more specifically is going to be required from them to render to us what belongs to us? Because what they have to render is not something that we can take.
Okay. All right, Pooch, you want to? I have an answer to that. You want to chime in, man?
Well, I'm gonna go with Guy on this one. You can't just take when you're in the minority, you can't just take anything. And as far as changing mindsets so that they can see the evils and the wrongs done to us, dude, that ain't ever gonna happen. Not on the masses.
Change. You said change the mindsets is not gonna happen.
You talked about changing the mindsets. I'm like, how you gonna change? How can I change you from hate to love?
Well, see, but do you think, even looking at where we are now, though, do you think that there has been? I mean, you're not saying that you don't think that there has been change from the 50s to now, though, right? Or is that what you're saying?
Listen. Here's what I'm saying, so I'll be absolutely clear. Some things had to change, even if by osmosis. Okay, you couldn't just keep having people living a certain way while everybody else lives. Like the cream is here, and the so-called, second-class citizens are here.
Right.
It had to change by osmosis, if nothing else, because you had whites mingling with blacks,
absolutely,
mingling with Hispanics, mingling with Asians. Hold on, no, Stace, let me finish.
Okay,
let me finish my point. Mm-hmm. So some things had to change. So I'm not going to give credit just because, okay, now we have voting rights. Now we can drink from the same water fountain as white folks, or now we can hold the same positions. That had to change. Okay? But the kind of change that Guy is talking about, and the kind of change that some of the people on the chat is talking about, it's hard to change systemic racism. Because every time you think about a different way we can do things as a people, always those in the back rooms plotting how to keep us down. Like in Georgia, right? The voting rights, they changed something simple as giving people water and food. Right. Think about how criminal that is. Yeah. That you want to. What kind of hatred you have in your heart? That you think that's going to affect a certain group of people, right? Because they did it to change the minds of depressed black voters. That's why they did it, right? But think about how evil you have to be in your heart to do that.
Actually, the comment that I put on the screen there, Guy, if our human rights were totally equal, would there be a need for civil rights? And that's valid. I think that's kind of what Guy's saying. Now, did you want to finish your thought, Pooch?
Well, and another thing I just wanted to quickly add is I'm a little bit of a different mindset than both of y'all. And I've expressed this multiple times. I don't ever think man can solve his problems. He's never been able to solve the one fundamental problem we have as human beings towards each other is hatred. True. Right? They can put a man on the moon, right? They can cure some forms of cancer. They even came out with a vaccine to stop the spread of all this coronavirus to some degree. But look how that's even divided up, right? True. And you had to be of a certain ilk to get it, right? And now that most people are just saying, I don't even care no more. If I get it, whatever. But my point is, man cannot solve his own problems because man doesn't have man's best interest at heart. Profound. Right? And it ain't just in this country. Right. We build this country because this
man gonna always fight.
But if you look in Africa, they warring amongst each other, killing each other, right? Look at other countries where even the white folks, in countries like Ireland, who fought for their independence from Britain, right? So man has never had progress or man's best interest in heart without killing each other, without hating each other, because that's how some people thrive. And as long as there are those who hate, right, we always have issues.
Well, see, but I guess that's what we strive for, though, and I agree with you, Pooch. Hate is a condition of the heart, and you can't legislate that. If that hate is there, then it's going to be there. But again, I think that we strive. That's what we strive for. We strive to be the better versions of ourselves, and to treat our fellow human being like we would our own brothers. Now, to get back to what you said, Guy, what needs to happen to bring, what they can do to bring, or what we expect from them. You're talking about systemic changes. You're talking about a change at this, systematic change. But systematic change, the same way that it was put into place, it can be unraveled as well, though, right? I mean, if you because as we always talk about, the numbers don't lie. If you're taking an honest look at how dollars are doled out or how funds are allocated, and you're looking at the numbers, you can then make a determination of where the priorities are. The way they're spending their money, things of that nature. So, and again, if there are systemic items in place to make it unfair, the way dollars are being doled or allocated the wrong way, then you can unravel those. So again, those systemic rules that are in place to help keep people at a certain place can be unraveled then, right?
All right. My question was rhetorical. This is a real simple answer to my question. I'm glad it sparked the debate that it did. And I appreciate one of the comments from Dino, and I want to touch on his comment real quick too. And the answer to that question, which I believe was rhetorical in nature, but it did spark a nice debate, was just do the exact same fucking thing you're doing for white folks. Period. Boom. That's it. It's that simple. Treat me the same way you treat white folks. Period. That's it. So now what Dina was saying was, his comment was, ask the brother this, and I think he was referring to me. Are we the original man? Are we the dominant people, mentally, phonically, morally, and spiritually? Then what's this gimme, gimme, gimme? You want something that they are not capable of giving. What he doesn't understand is fundamentally, he doesn't understand the fundamentals of that statement that I made. And the statement that I made is, I owe you something, Stacey. Just by you being alive, I owe you something. I owe a duty of care to you that says I'm not going to do certain things to you to impede on whatever progress you want to make. I owe you that. I have to give you that. I have to render that to you. So as far as what the brother is saying, that I owe you that, and you owe me that. I can't take that from you. There's nothing I can force to force you to give me that. And to go to circle back to Pooch and a comment Pooch was making regarding hate, etc. Listen, I'm all for you, Pooch, and we may not get there, in my lifetime. And you're right, humanity may never get there because humanity may not be in a position to accept, equity and equality in each other. Period. But what I do know is until they start chucking dirt on my casket, for peace sake, I'm willing to continue to be at war.
That's right. True.
Well, I think
go ahead, Pooch.
Just want to throw this in there. I think it's not that I don't want mankind.
Of course.
I just know that from my belief in God's word, the Bible, and seeing with my own eyes how man is dominated man to his own injury. I just don't think it's going to happen. I kind of feel like it's not going to happen. But to the point of progress, those days, progress has to. Only way you can measure progress, really, truly, okay, is when the minorities in position to want to do something has enough help from the majority to make things change. Like some people say, well, we had a black president. Okay, how did that black president get elected? Well, it wasn't just because blacks did it. It was enough white folks gravitated that concept too. So that's how you make real progress, real change, when the minority and the little piece of the majority come together and decide, you know what, we had enough. This is it. This is enough. And you're still going to have that fight because you got the other half of the majority.
Absolutely. That's going to fight against you, right. I guess what you're saying is that's just human nature.
Yeah, and that's why it is hard for man to help each other because not enough of us care.
Yeah, I mean, so just to put a bow on it, and you two will get a chance to kind of make your closing remarks regarding this subject also. Although I don't sit here and say that Juneteenth was enough, but I'm of the mindset that it's better than nothing, and I think that if now it'll be more discussed and people will be better educated about it. I like it. Like King's Holiday. I understand. Have we made it? Do I think that we made it? No. But if these types of gestures like this moves us a little closer to where we need to be, then I'm all for it. So, God, did you want a last comment on that one?
On that one, I just say, hey, happy Juneteenth. Let's enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I refurbished my grill, and I was looking for a reason to put that joint to use, and it's a perfect opportunity for it. So, I ain't no Juneteenth. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just stained the deck and all that. You know what I mean? Right in time for Juneteenth. So, hey, happy Juneteenth. And all that.
Hey, yeah, let's put out the barbecue. Let's get a switch back.
You ever saw that episode of Blackish when they did the Juneteenth special?
No,
I see.
Oh man, y'all missed a great one. But they.
So this is before. Was this after they made it a holiday?
They did this years ago. This
okay.
2017, 20 something like 2017, something like that. But well, if you didn't see it, it don't even matter. But if you get a chance, go look at that episode.
It was good.
Oh, it was excellent.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna check it out when I get a minute.
All right.
Yeah, it was. That's all I wanted to just throw that in there.
All right. So lastly, we're looking pretty good on time. Lastly, we have our youth, and this. I know we talk about this often, and it's a heavy one. But God, I'm gonna come to you, man.
No, let's start with you on this one, Steve. Come on.
Hold on.
Us going.
I had this conversation a while back.
We have, man. I mean, but I think
wild comment.
Who, me?
Yeah.
About our youth? What was it?
I remember, yeah.
What was it? Was I drinking?
I don't know. You had something in your cup.
What was it? Listen, let me tell you something. If I said it 9 times out of 10, I meant it. So what was it?
Oh,
right.
You said it. You should remember what you said, bro.
That was before we had opportunity to discuss it. We discussed it afterwards.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And we kind of came to some understandings about it and all
okay.
that.
Talking about lock them little niggas up.
Yeah, you was like, I'm calling the cops on you.
Hey, God, I asked you that the other day. Hey, God, we're on social media. I might tell on you now.
This dude.
Shit. You know how many people just told on me for jumping the fucking turnstile? Everybody told on me for that, man.
Yeah, God put that on his Facebook page. He jumped the he thought about jumping the turnstile. So I put it on Facebook. I'm like, I don't know why you told me that. So I had a little meme of me dialing the phone.
I jumped that John. No, I did. I jumped that John. I jumped it. They probably coming for me or whatever, but it's cool. I jumped that John, man.
Yo, man. See, what it is that guy is in the legal field, so he know if they come at him now, he already got his defense already. So he not worried about it.
I said, listen, the train was on the way. The ticket wasn't working. I had to get there.
So you ain't the only one, bro. I jumped a few turnstiles in my day.
Really?
It'd be like that, man.
Remember the old subway?
Oh yeah, back in the day, yeah. See, no, I would be the one that they would catch and beat. So I've never. I stayed in with the train. All right.
So you want me to go about the youth or what? You want me to go? I'll go. It don't matter.
Well, okay. Well, since I didn't go first, my moms will. I think I come from a position of just. I don't want to say confusion, but concern. Concern, yeah, and confusion, and just and I know we talked about it. We talked about it before, and with all this violence and stuff, man, it's that. You know what, guy? I'll say this: the way we are to each other, is like Coop said, but that is to me that is the biggest problem.
The violence.
The violence, yeah, the violence. That right there is crazy, and I know that poverty breeds violence, and there are a lot of other reasons why we find ourselves here now. But to find a way to reach each other to let us know that shooting up the block and shooting innocent people and all that kind of stuff is not the answer. I could even go with and this might sound crazy, but it's the innocent that I struggle with. If you had a beef for something, I don't even want to say it. But anyway, what did you want to say, Guy?
I was pretty much going to say I'm in love with the youth and everything that comes along with them. I think talking, when we take the time to talk to the youth that that a lot of society believes are the problem, or creating issues in society or causing violence and such. Um, I have unique opportunities at times to talk to these young people more often than probably most folks, right? I get a glimpse into what got them there because they talk to me. They want to tell me, they not required to, but in our conversations, I try to direct them so that I can get a better understanding of how they arrived at where they arrived and what caused, some things. And it usually goes back to trauma. It usually goes back to poverty. But I think when they allow you in, right? Even those young people that we call a problem, right? When they allow you in because you're credible and you're genuine and you have their best interests at heart and you're not judgmental, they will allow you in. And it's an honor to be able to talk to them and understand where they're coming from. And it's a pleasure to be able to share little nuggets with them when you can from time to time. So I think talking to our youth and just being around our youth, I think our youth are a glimpse into the future. I think if we turn our backs on that, then we're going to be left out in the cold. I think that we have to do everything in our possibly in our being, in our just everything that makes us up. We owe it to young people to make them better and look at them, not in the light that I believe is amplified by the media, which, it certainly amplifies every violent act of a Black person in our community. But, listen, we're on a record pace right now for mass shootings in America, and the majority of those are that could be accounted for by white folks, right? But you don't see that amplification in our media about that. What you see, since it's the hot topic or it's popular, is everybody to talk about, and it's been going on for decades, right? Even the current president, he had his words to say about Black folks in the 80s, 90s, and he's since apologized for it. But when we allow our media to amplify those things that put us in a bad light, and we're accepting of them, we don't take the opportunities that we can to actually look at these young people and talk to them and see where they're coming from, because these are special young people, all of them, right? Not just the ones that we may say are causing problems, but all of them. It's a glimpse into the future, and we got to support that, and we got to be here for them. And I look at the youth as a gem and a jewel, and something that allows me to really see where we're headed. Now, I adore and love the young people.
And Guy, and I don't want, and I know this is not what you, the way you meant it, but I feel like I feel obligated to say it though. I don't want anyone to walk away thinking that I'm saying that I don't love the youth or anything like that. The violence concerns me. It truly concerns me because we know once you start engaging in that, it doesn't end well. But I agree with you. Any opportunity I get, those conversations, I love it. I'm a talker, so I love it. I adore it, and I agree with you. It is an honor to be able to try to reach them. But
let me correct myself. Let me rewind that a little bit, because I know Stacey, and I know that you do have one of the best hearts out there. We met out on the streets to talk to young folks, you and I. So I know where your heart is, and I know that you are genuine in your search to make better young people so that we have a better tomorrow. I know that. So I didn't even mean to frame that way. Absolutely not.
Man, this violence, it concerns me, and I'm at a loss. You know what I mean? I'm at a loss. Pooch, did you want to chime in, man?
Well, I'm gonna say this about the youth, and to Guy's point, you have to get involved with them. You can't just look at them and just shake your head like, man, that's
right.
crazy.
Right.
No, because see, like, to me, it's like if somebody walk up to you and say, hey, I'm hungry, can you feed me? And you just say, hey, be well. How's that helping that person? These kids, what they're doing is they're crying out for help because they don't have what we may have grown up with, right? Our parents, or if you had one mom or one pop in the house that was doing, well, and teaching you things, you gravitated to what you was learning. But these cats sometimes they don't even have that. They only have, they might be living with grandma, And grandma too old to care what they do, or
surviving.
grandma might be outside, or their mom might, or dad might.
She at the Juneteenth barbecue.
Yeah,
Good stuff.
There's another side where you might have two parents lovingly treating their children well in the home, but sometimes that person just want to see what it's like to be out in the streets. Right?
Yeah.
So, you know, it's to me, it's not a black and white issue in terms of this is how you handle it, this is what you do. It's talk to them, get involved, show them a better way. You know, you can catch more fish, you know what I mean, with more flies with honey than you will with vinegar.
Right.
But if all you're doing is throwing vinegar at it and saying this is who you are, you ain't nothing, you ain't gonna never be nothing. What you think that makes that person feel like?
Yeah.
But if you could take the time and just talk to them, I don't care if it's just one person, just like, hey, man, you know what?
I think that's important.
I see you. You know what I mean? And, you know what I mean? You have to let them know that you see them. And they're not just a statistic to you. You know what I mean?
Go ahead, guy. What were you about to say?
The young people that I deal with, or that most of us deal with, because young people are young people, right? Mm-hmm. And the one thing they have in common is they're young, right? And they're still developing. And when I talk to young people look at us and they see us, and they, you know, believe it or not, young people want to be us, right? And when they see what they want to be or what they want to become, and they see it looking back at them saying, you know, you ain't shit, young boy, get out of here, because we didn't take the time to talk to them or dialogue with them or build with them or understand how they arrived at this place in their lives. All we know is, yo, young boy, you really messed up today. You know, I got no forgiveness for you. Or, you know, or we are going to shake our head and walk the other way. And they see that, they don't think it's much hope for them. They don't think that there's any way possible. But if you turn that and flip it and you provide them with some kind of support, you talk to them a little bit, you give them that little bit of information on what you did to become whoever it is that you are or whatever it is that you accomplished, you know, they feel some self-worth, like, yo, at least I'm worth a conversation with this person rather than, you know, him crossing the street going the other way when he see me on the block. And you know, we gotta really approach these young kids. I think we allowed our young people to become unapproachable to us, where adults are afraid to talk to young kids because we're afraid of what they may do or how they may react or, you know, whatever, how things are going to turn out. But they're just as afraid of us, just as afraid as people in other generations are afraid that a young person is going to pull out a ratchet or I'm going to slice your face or, you know, I'm going to stomp you, I'm going to kick you in the chest, whatever. They're afraid that we're, you know, going to invite harm to them in the form of possibly law enforcement or any other number of ways that we can invite harm onto a child. They feel threatened and they feel like they got to, you know, survive. Now, I'm not talking about the young knucklehead that just decided he was going to shoot this dude over this girl and some foolishness, or, you know, the pack on the block was light or something or whatever. Those are knuckleheads and they're going to be goofy, but you have those across the races, and it's not just our race. I think we do have a generation that requires a little more attention from us and a little more, you know, a little less judgment.
I'm gonna read something somebody said that kind of goes along those lines. It said, we talk and complain and condemn, and me on the including at times are more focused on what this society has us strung on. I think that kind of goes along the lines of what you said, Gal. You talk about how we're allowing outside forces to dictate what our youth are, you know, and I agree with that. Somebody said the adults have to engage the youth and listen to them. That's what you just said. They feel understanding that they are valued, and once they feel that, they will begin to listen to the adults. I agree, and part of that, to your point, Guy, probably has to go back to fear. You know, if you're afraid that you're always, you know, that you're going to be harmed, you're less likely to reach out to the young person because it's fear. You know, it's fear, and then unfortunately, the knuckleheads out there, they feed off of fear. So if you show that you're afraid of them, now they're on the attack.
Right.
Now they're on the attack. You know? So it's tough, man. They need compassion, is what the one person just said.
I think they need resources. I think they need shit in the community, man. They need jobs. They need education, better education. They need compassion from people in the community. They need recreation. Like, I mean, you're gonna cut down all the recreation centers in the city. You're gonna take away all the programming in the city. Take away all the programming in the prisons. You know, there's nothing left for them. no jobs. There's no equity in the criminal justice system. There's no equity in social justice out here. When we start to give them those things, those kind of the resources that support those things, I think we'll see. I think, and only then will we see a change in what our media is now calling this wave of violence in our communities. I think that's what's needed. With just a tender touch. These young kids ain't used to a tender touch. They ain't used to being given anything. They're not used to getting a second chance. They're not used to nobody talking to them. They definitely not used to anybody mentoring them or spending time and following up with them, supervising. They used to people throwing them out saying, "Do what you got to do, kid. You over 18 or you over 14 now. Go ahead and get busy." Like, I don't really have time for the foolishness, right? So I think once we start showing support and love for these kids, I think then our youth. Because our youth is the future, bro. And if we don't do something about it,
we're going to lose.
Yeah, they could lose. Yeah, so, we got to get to it.
Pooch, any closing words, man? Any closing thoughts?
Well, yeah. I mean, as far as the youth go, get involved, talk to them. I got a 20-year-old son that I'm always in his ear, man. Constantly talking to him. And I talked to him.
We debated a couple days ago, man.
Yeah, you have to get involved. You can't just see young people as a deterrent or young people as, your past. Like, oh yeah, I used to be you. You know what I mean? You have to,
right. That's right.
That old saying about teach a man how to fish, you feed him for life. But you have to teach them skills that can help them in life. Help them to overcome conflict. Help them to understand that there's going to be good days, there's going to be bad days, but this is how you handle those bad days.
That's life.
We all know how to handle good days, but this is how you handle those bad days when the whole world seems like it's against you. You know what I mean? And on other topics, Juneteenth, I don't celebrate holidays, so it don't matter to me.
Right.
I'd rather have the whole world celebrating peace and joy. You know what I mean?
So you're saying like a Coke, like you want the whole world to sing like a Coke and a smile? Yeah, I like the whole world to sing Perfect Harmony. That was the words for the song. You buy it, You buy it.
Pay the athletes
yeah.
Gonna do with Ben Simmons, man. I had that dude.
Yeah, he got to go, man. He got to go. As we wind it down, we winding it down, guy. Any closing thoughts, man, that you want to put out there?
Yeah, listen, on everything. I think you had a good show today. I appreciate you having me on. I love talking about the young people. You know that. So let's all reach out to some young folks. You know what I mean? Let's make it a point. We always talk and we always get together. And, I appreciate the podcast. It's dope. Your following is awesome and they always participate. So you got a platform. I say, there's got to be some challenge in between podcasts with folks to say, hey, what are you doing from now until next Sunday? And, let's focus on some stuff like that. And I think you got to be the change that you want to see. So let's work in between podcasts and see, what kind of progress we can make.
Guys, that's a good point, man. It's a real good point. So, I know we started talking. I guess we gotta hold ourselves accountable and get back to that. Something Pooch said made a lot of sense too, man. And I'm a big believer in that. As I talk about incrementalism, I think that everybody grab one. If you can't do a class of people 30 at a time, just grab one and usher that person through. But in closing, man, I want to thank both of you for agreeing to come on and hang out with us in our digital neighborhood on this last minute request. I knew that y'all would bring something insightful to the table, and I always learn a lot from our dialogue. So I want to thank you two brothers, man. I appreciate it.
Hold up, my agent said I was getting paid.
Hang up. No, because I'm about to hang up. The podcast is over. Yeah, so we'll be here next week. So the podcast, right now we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube. So once my man come back from vacation, we'll be on all the other platforms, and we'll see you all next Sunday. And like you said, guy, hopefully we'll be able to touch base and try to start on the next one, man. You know what I'm talking about.
So,
all right? Okay. Hey, man, all right, y'all. Thanks a million, man. We say Pooch.
I say I enjoyed this.
Okay. Nice. All right. Appreciate it again, man. All right, y'all. Be safe.